Smarterfan. Smarterfan. Yeah. Smarterfan.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another segment of Smarterfan Podcast, where we bring you behind the veil of sports, business, and life. I'm Joe, and this is Barry. How you doing, Barry?
It's a new year. It's a new year. It's a new year. 2024. I'm so excited. Ready to go. Ready to go.
Yes. Tonight, I had spoke about this young man a while back, and I want to put him in the spotlight. And his name is Malcolm Koonce. Okay, he's from Peekskill, New York. He graduated from Archbishop Stepinac High School in White Plains. You know, his main sport, his primary sport was rugby, and he's used some of those techniques in his game. Then he switched to football, and he led Stepinac to a New York State Catholic high school championship. Okay. Then yeah. He went to the University of Buffalo, where he was only the fourth U of B player to be invited to play in the Senior Bowl. He was selected in the third round of the 2021 draft by the Raiders. And my theory is that Gruden knew he screwed up with Khalil Mack. So, and he saw the same type of player in Malcolm. So that's why he took Malcolm. That's my theory anyway. He debuted on December 5th and recorded his first sack of Tyler Heineke. And then 2023 was his breakout year under interim coach Antonio Pierce. He had 2 sacks and a forced fumble against the Chargers in that route. And he had 8 pressures and 3 sacks against the Chiefs. And he had a sack against the Colts in a losing cause and the Broncos. So, like I said, if Pierce stays on as the coach, I think this kid has a bright future because Pierce will let him play, and the kid can ball. He can ball, and as long as Pierce keeps turning him loose, he's getting results out there, and I don't know why, McDaniel was holding him back, and it just, well, that's another story. But anyway, so he's like I said, he's the kid. He's well grounded, comes from a really very good family, and he's very respectful, and he's just a good kid, and I'd love to see him succeed.
So you're not going to tell the family. You're not going to tell the family what's going on.
I'm working on trying to get him onto the show. So,
it's like being your dentist here, pulling teeth here, pulling teeth here.
Yes, I'm working
on
the
trying
family
to get
we're
on
working
on here. Oh my goodness! You see what I got to deal with the family? See what I got to deal with? It's not easy.
So,
but it's all right. He's a great kid, and I look forward to having him on the show and getting some insights behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. And I really hope Coach Pierce stays. And it'd be one of the smartest moves that the Raiders have made in the last 20 years. And they need to make that move. Pierce has got a plan.
Yeah. Max Crosby and Devontae Adams are really, really lobbying for him to stay. So.
Yeah, I'm sure that, it's a new. I mean, I haven't felt this energy of the Raider mystique for a long time, and I feel it with Antonio Pierce and how they look. And I mean, they got a unknown quarterback who's getting the job done. You know what I mean? That's Raider
Yeah,
mystique. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Absolutely,
definitely,
absolutely,
definitely.
absolutely.
You know, so I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about the USFL and the XFL merger. That was finally approved, you know, and
Okay.
it's going to be a new spring league called the United Football League, and that's going to
Oh,
begin.
that's what they did.
Yeah, yeah, and the season's going to start on March 30th. Um, and the league's going to consist of 8 teams, from 4 from the USFL, 4 from the XFL, and
Okay.
you know, yeah, you know, they're gonna have uh, teams in Birmingham, Houston, Michigan, Arlington, DC, San Antonio, and St. Louis. And the league is going to have kind of an NFL flavor to it because Moose Johnston is going to be in charge of football operations. Okay. Uh,
Okay.
and uh, Mike Nolan, he's going to coach Michigan. And if everybody's wondering what happened to Wade Phillips, he's going to coach San Antonio. So,
Okay. Okay. That makes
so
sense.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Now this is an interesting dynamic, I think, because this is going to. I think that this league will be able to showcase players that didn't make it in the NFL, right? But also give the
Yeah.
NFL a chance to look at these players. I don't maybe like an NFL farm system, so to speak.
No, they need one. I mean
Yeah,
there's not enough football in if you can believe that in the regular season, right? People still hungering for football.
right.
So it's just a matter of time, and it makes perfect sense. They just got to get the financing right. The players are there,
Hmm.
and you always people always say to yourself, "Man, where's this guy been on the bench?" On the
Hmm.
bench, he just never got an opportunity. You know what I
Right,
mean? So this
right.
is a opportunity for guys to get another look, another opportunity. Because just like anything else, it's who you know. It's who
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
and scheme, and there's a whole lot of things that have to play. Like the young man you just talked about, he's been very
Hmm.
productive, but he just never got a real honest chance to show what he can do. And when given the opportunity, everybody
Hmm.
seems surprised, but he can't make himself get on the field. He has to, you know, been given the opportunity, and he's going to get him an opportunity. And that happens to a lot of guys in the NFL. They're great.
Hmm.
And either they're sitting behind a perennial All Pro, or they're sitting behind a favorite. Or they're just in a bad situation or a bad scheme, but placed in the right situation, they flourish. They
Yeah.
flourish. And I have a theory, in sports, that you have good coaches, bad coaches, and lazy coaches and
Yeah.
organizations. And
Mm.
that's why there's every year I keep telling my friends and family, there's always this line of teams that will always be 500, who will rarely make the
Mm.
playoffs, because largely because of lazy coaching.
Mm.
Yeah,
Well,
lazy coaching.
definitely, definitely. So
Hmm.
I think that's going to be interesting. And like I said, the ball rolling as far as ball is concerned for football starved fans. You know, so
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
yeah.
We'll have that shakes out. But anyway, I also wanted to talk about the NFL class of 24 Hall of Fame finalists,
Uh-huh.
and Antonio Gates and Julius Peppers are the standouts. You know, of the finalists. Gates, I believe he was an undrafted free agent with the Chargers. And he's like the
Yeah.
all-time receptions leader with 116
Well,
career TD receptions. Huh?
he's been playing since 1967. What do you mean? He's a former basketball player. I mean, I love
Yeah.
Antonio. But I mean, my man got all the mileage that he could get. I mean, it's like he's been
Hmm.
playing forever. So I'm happy for him.
Yeah,
I'm happy for him. Absolutely.
yeah.
But
Oh
he,
yeah,
but he replaces the.
yeah. But I think he's got to get in. These guys got to get in. And Julius Peppers, he's the only player in NFL history with 100 career sacks.
That's
And
ridiculous.
10 career interceptions.
Wow.
You know,
10?
so yeah, he's got 10 career interceptions, and I
Another
mean, the guy, he
basketball
was a beast.
player.
Yeah, he was a
Yeah,
beast.
another
He
basketball
was
player
definitely
like
a beast.
Antonio Gates.
Hmm. Yeah. So, and some of the other names, are Rodney Harrison, Devin Hester. I hope Darren Woodson gets in this time. He does. I believe he deserves it. Torrey Holt is on that list, and Dwight Freeney. So, you know,
Yeah,
it's
Woodson.
it's
Yeah, I thought Woodson was in there already.
no. Every
I thought he
Woodson
was
but
in.
him is in. Charles Woodson is in. So, but yeah, he
Interesting.
really deserves to get in. So anyway, but what's on your
Absolutely.
mind?
Absolutely. Buffaloes, the Buffaloes. Man, I've been, I came into the holidays thinking I was going to relax, be able to, enjoy food and family and everything. Everybody wants to talk sports. Everybody, babe, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about Colorado? What do you think about the playoffs and the college? What do you think about NIL? What do you think about the money? I said, it's all about the money. That's what
Hmm.
it's about.
It,
I just tell everybody, welcome to the new era of uh, college football. And they
mm,
said, well, what do you mean? I said, it'll never be the same. Welcome to free agency. Welcome to, just like you see in the NFL, guys going from team to team, getting opportunities. That's what's going to
mm,
happen. I'm waiting for the conversation of, I got a big article here from the New York Times that kind of talked about the NIL Washington does, the collective that Alabama does, kind of a hybrid system done in Texas, and then what
mm,
Michigan does. And, it's great. I'm excited, but they're not talking about the other money. And the other money,
mm,
people can say, what are you talking about the other money? The other money is the TV money, the concessions money,
mm.
the millions and millions and millions. So it's almost like a magician saying, look over here while he does the trick over here. And they got everybody thinking about the NIL, but no one's talking about the money, the TV money, the big money.
Right.
Like all these kids, it should be a baseline of all these kids getting $100,000, 3 years of academic eligibility after their playing days, whether they go pro
Hmm.
or not or whatever. It should be a smorgasbord, really three or four, where an athlete has options depending on how their career works out.
Hmm.
That track may open up for them. It may take a little longer for it to open for them. You're going to see a lot of guys playing a lot longer. Um, because
Mm.
there's so many variables you don't control. Look at Arch Manning, big name. But he can't get on the field because the quarterback in front of him is getting the job done. And the quarterback
Hmm.
plans on coming back next year. So the reality is he may not get to play till he's a junior. You know what I mean? And depending on how
Yeah.
that goes will depend whether or not he gets drafted. So he may end up
Mm.
transferring if he doesn't get to play, right? To get more time to showcase his talent. You see how tricky it
Right.
is? And
Yeah.
he doesn't control any of that, right? He doesn't control any of it.
Yeah.
So these are the variables that exist, in college sports. So it's a very exciting time. Coach Prime is, he's working magic out of the portal. Magic, I say.
Mm.
And he's
Yeah.
getting the type of players he wants. And I saw a little. I think the four offensive linemen's fathers got together, got to meet each other, and they put on a little dance. So
Mm.
I'm telling you, folks, we're probably gonna experience probably I mean, college sports. I've always loved it, the excitement and whatever. But but it's just going to be really at a whole other level now, because
Mm.
of social media, and because you're getting a lot of behind the scenes, the parents, the families. It's going to be an interesting time, and Colorado is really leading out in that. You haven't seen that from other major LSU's or the Bamas or the Florida States, where people have actually created shows around the family,
Mm.
which is very
Yeah.
exciting. It's quite entertaining, to get the backstories of these players and their families. And Colorado has really something special going on there, and
Mm.
it's going to be interesting. I really feel sorry for Florida. This is again back to my point. So there's so much as a collegiate athlete you don't control. So you can say to yourself, "Hey, I'm going into this season. We're going to have a great season." Florida State's
Hmm.
has a undefeated a season. Feels they deserve a goal. They should have went to a bowl. They don't get the nod.
Right. Yeah.
And I said, people, I got a whole bunch of people who called me, and I said, it'll probably take 4 years for that program, at least 4 years for it to bounce back, because kids are going to be what? I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why that happened, but I'm not risking my
Right.
career, because if I
Right.
put in the work and I do everything you tell me to do, I still may not get the opportunity to go to a bowl. I mean, what are you supposed to
Right.
do when you go
Yeah.
12-0? What are you supposed to do? I went 12-0.
No,
You know
this
what I
is
mean?
why I get so
So,
confused with college sports.
yeah, it's confusing. It's just politics and pilot tricks and business. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
bad blood. There's bad blood that goes on behind the scenes. And someone said to me, somebody had a vendetta out for Florida State, and this is how they paid him back. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah.
And you kind of say to yourself, who do you bump Alabama? There's such a big draw, money.
Mm.
Do you bump
Yeah.
Texas? How? Right? And then the possible
Yeah.
matchup of the two coaches who they get to sell that. Then you got Washington coming out of there, and then you got Michigan who finally ascends.
Yeah.
They've been knocking on the door, knocking on the door, knocking on the door, and they finally ascend. Right? So there's a
Right.
whole lot of money to be made. A whole lot of money to
Mm.
be made, and politics and the athlete controls none of it. That's why I always say the athletes need to be paid, need to be compensated, because there's all these 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-olds who made this commitment to Florida State who are going, do I stay or do I go? You got
Yeah.
seniors who thought they were going to end their career in a bowl and don't get to go.
Mm.
I'm telling you, that's a devastated program right now. That's a devastated program.
Yeah. I imagine. I
It's a
imagine.
devastated program. You know. So that's where I've been hanging out in college land and handling all these things and having all these conversations. So it's really really exciting though, with college sports. I love college
Yeah.
sports. Um, it's just a different energy than pro sports. I love pro sports, but college is just there's nothing like 80,000 screaming fans in a stadium in a college game. It's just nothing like it.
Yeah.
It's nothing like
Yeah. I
it.
can imagine. I can
It's
imagine.
nothing like it. It's just nothing like it. So there's a lot of interesting things. I'll be back next week with some trivia. I know I had some because you've been beating me like 100-1, and I had some trivia, but I'm gonna I got something for you this year. I'm gonna save it until next week. I got to store this stuff up and try to catch you, then try to surpass you before you
Mm.
come up with some great Jack Johnson historical documentary that I got to compete against. But anyway, it is what it is. It's all right. It's
Yeah.
all right. It's all right.
I just want to give a shout out to women's basketball because Caitlin
Yeah.
Clark, this woman is unbelievable. I mean, she dumped 40 points on MSU, accounting for more than half of the points scored in the game as they beat them 76-73. You know, she dumped another 29 points on Rutgers, and along with her 10 assists, got her 14th double double. Okay, and she's 309 points behind Kelsey Plums for the all-time scoring title. Um, and I mean, I she took a shot from at least 5 feet behind the arc, and she just did it effortlessly. And I mean, I was just amazed. I mean, she looked like Jerry West out there. I mean, she's just amazing, just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and to your point about the business side, she signed an NIL deal with Gatorade, to go along
Mm-hmm.
with her other deals with State Farm,
Mm-hmm.
Nike, and Hy-Vee. And she,
Mm-hmm.
she said that this gives certain athletes a chance to learn about these industries, and see how they work.
Yep.
And and it allows
Yep.
them to pursue other passions, while they're playing, and after their playing days are over. In the mock draft right now, they got her slated as number 1, and she would go to the Indiana Fever, who won the draft lottery. That's if she decides to declare, you know. So, but the woman she's a scoring
Well,
machine.
yeah, it's gonna take her. It's gonna take a lot of money to get her out of there, get her out of Iowa. She'll
Yeah.
probably end up with a Midwest team, which would only make sense because she's played her
Mm-hmm.
college days in the Midwest,
Mm.
and they're crazy about basketball in the Midwest. So
Mm-hmm.
she's a beast. That I wonder how
Yeah.
tall she is, but she balls out. I mean, I just
Yes,
like
she does.
I this. I'm like, this girl is she's playing at another level. She
Oh yeah.
she
Yeah.
could possibly. This is what's interesting. I think within the next 2 or 3 years, one or a couple of these girls are going to get drafted into the NBA because I think she's bigger than Steph or as big as
Mm.
Steph. And then the way she
Well,
drained that shot in the final seconds from way
yeah.
out there, I was
Yeah.
like,
I'm telling you, man. Yeah.
she
I
was
was in
it
awe.
was like it was like a layup for her. She was like, all right, I'm gonna walk you down. How much time on the clock? Yep, here's my spot. Whoop. It was like,
Yep.
man, that looked very Steph Curry, very Larry Birdish. Very
I'm
Larry
talking
Birdish.
Jerry. I'm talking Jerry West.
Ain't
you
nobody
know?
remember no Jerry West. 1967 Lakers. Ain't nobody remember that. No, I love Jerry West. I hope we get to meet him one day. He's always been one of my favorite top 3 players, Jerry West.
Mm.
Really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the girl is the truth. Caitlin, the truth. She is the truth.
Yeah.
I just haven't seen
Definitely.
anybody defensively be able to shut her down. And
No, not at all. Not at
you got to
all.
have a lot of skills. I thought those record girls were going to beat her up, but they couldn't catch her to beat her up.
Nope.
So,
Nope. But yeah.
so all I can say, my good friend, I got some more stuff out next week. Ooh, if we had a little bit more time, I want to talk about one of my favorite games, golf, and one of my favorite players, Tiger Woods. I'm so
Mm.
glad somebody hit me up today. Oh, Tiger ended his 27-year relationship with Nike. I said, thank God. Now he can make some real money. And they were like, what are you talking about? I said, Tiger's had his own brand for at least 10 years. At least 10 years.
Mm.
He's actually probably taken a loss being with Nike and not having his own shoe or whatever else he wants to brand because crazy people like me would buy his stuff. And what's
Mm.
really exciting is that Charlie, his son, is oh man, that kid is the truth.
Mm.
That kid is the truth. And so it's
Yeah.
going to be I foresee another $1 billion run plus with Charlie and you can see the grooming and the attention. But the kid can flat out play. He can flat out play. And so now golf is going to make 2 times as much money because now you got dad and you got son, right? So there comes to see, there's the whole, let me just give you the money play. So there's the chase of him chasing his father, and then the father ascending, and them competing at the Masters, and and then them playing together, right? And then the crown eventually passing to Charlie. Oh, they're gonna make so much money off of this. It's not even funny. Matter of fact, let me go buy some golf clothes right now. So
we're gonna have to save that for next week.
next week. Absolutely. So, Smarterfan family, we're back in the saddle. We got exciting things, Formula One, interviews, all kinds of great stuff. Former players, current players. There's a lot on the roster. So get on the surfboard, because we're gonna do some surfing in 2024.
Right.
Smarterfan podcast coming back at you. See you next week.
All right.
Smarterfan. Smarterfan. Yeah.